You're off the clock with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hey Trish, how are you?
I'm good. Happy Thursday.
Yes, and it's sort of like Friday, right? Are we embracing summer Fridays now officially? It's June 23rd as we stand. I think we are.
We are. And, yesterday I was like, oh, yeah, I'll see you in 2 days. You're right. You reminded me after we got off the live portion that we are going to try. I'm not going to say I'm going to take off all day on Fridays, but I would like to take a little bit of time off. And I think that'll be good for both of us.
It,
So
it is summer.
it is summer. And we did it last summer and it worked out really well. So, anyway, so the
Indeed.
show will be typically Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? So, anyway, I even just put on my visor because after this, I've been doing a lot of writing lately and I
Okay,
want to go and sit outside and write outside. So,
nice.
with sun protection on. But I've had a big morning. You want to know what happened?
Yes, I do.
No. You're like, no, I don't. I don't care what
No, I
happened.
do. I do.
No, so I think everybody in the whole world knows if they follow us that I have teenagers who are both going off to college in another, I think 67 or 66 days. Not like I'm
Ugh, who's counting?
I know who's counting. But I had an extra car. I had my little fun
Ooh,
car. I don't know if you've ever bought just like a fun car, but I had like a little
I had a fun truck
BMW.
at one point in my life,
Did
but not
you?
really a fun car.
Well, I think a fun truck counts, right? Oh,
Okay,
because you were like on a farm-ish,
I
right? Like
was. Yeah,
hauling and same concept. So I had a little convertible, little BMW Z4, really
nice.
fun. And I decided I wanted to get rid of it. But, usually you trade in one vehicle for another, but that's not my main, like what I drive. So anyway, I thought I'm going to check out what all the hoopla is on like selling cars online. So I went to Carvana
Okay.
and then I also looked at the Kelly Blue Book where they'll give you like an instant cash offer from local dealers
Oh
around you.
wow, that's cool. Did not know that.
Yeah, you can go on there and you don't have to accept any of this. You can just see what they would give you for your car. Now, obviously, you can do your research and find out what your car is worth, right?
Hmm.
If you were to sell it on your own, whatever. And so, after a lot of research and just trying to convince myself to do it, I went with Carvana,
Okay.
actually. Now, they've been in the news the past couple days. I don't know if you follow the stock market that closely. I'm really trying not to be honest with
Not
you.
to that level that I know what's going on with their stock, I would say.
Well, it just made big news because I mean it's down a lot. Their stock is down so much, and
Mm,
they've had some of their company people trying to buy some of it back, and
okay.
it's down like I don't know, like 95% since its
Mm.
high, which was several years ago.
Bit of a
But
dip. Could be a buying opportunity then, maybe.
I feel like yes. But anyway, let me just say this was the easiest, most smooth transaction. Number one, like I said, I did my research, so I didn't feel like I was getting ripped off. In fact, I made money on the car, so I'm thinking like
Wow.
that's a good thing. All right. Number two, they come to your house and pick your car up. It was kind of like it was like the ice cream man. You know when the ice cream man comes and like little kids all rush out? Like my neighbors were all outside because there was already a car like on the it's like a little Volkswagen Beetle up on their little truck. They all thought I was buying a new car. Or they were all coming out to see
Oh,
like what kind
Volkswagen
of
Beetle's pretty cool though. Maybe you should
it
have
was
like
really
did the
cute.
swap.
Not for my car. My car was so cute. But anyway, it was cute. But yeah, all the neighbors. So it gets attention, right? Everybody comes out. They want to see what's happening. I'm like, no, I'm just selling my car.
That's
Kids are
big
going
news
away.
in the neighborhood, sure.
I know I made the news. I made everybody's day, I think, around here. But
Yeah.
no, I want to give a shout out, Carvana, if you are listening. Taisha, who picked up my car in Waterloo, Illinois today, was amazing. She needs to become your new brand ambassador.
Shout
And let
out
me tell
Taisha.
you why. So just yesterday, we were talking about the report and the information that's being put out by Paychex, our friends at Paychex, on how offering, student repayment of student loans, that sort of thing is
Mhm.
gaining in popularity and why that's a good way to get hires. Well, Taisha, it turns out, was a nurse at a local hospital, which I won't say which one, but anyway, so obviously she had a good
How
job.
much
She was
time did you
making,
spend with Taisha here? It sounds like you got to know her.
let me tell you what, the whole thing start to finish was like 10 minutes.
Okay.
But we went deep. Do you ever have like chemistry with somebody and like anyway,
Not really, no.
let me give you the rundown on Taisha super fast because this is why Carvana was really good. Taisha not only did her job really well, she was very efficient. We had the paperwork signed, handed over the keys, end of that. But I asked her, I said, how long have you worked for Carvana? And she said she's been there 2 years. She was a nurse, so she was making good money.
Mm-hmm.
She's making good money doing this full time, and they completely pay for her education, and she's going back to school for something completely different. And so it just reminded me of our conversation yesterday that
Right.
employers are starting to really sort of sell this as a way to get employees. But yeah, she told me,
Cool.
she said, yeah, there's been a little bit of, Carvana stuff in the news. She goes, I love it. They are the best employer. She said, I couldn't be happier. I want to stay with them, even though she's
Yeah.
going back to school. She like really loves them. So anyway, shout out to my new friend Taisha from Carvana. And yeah, she was a great brand ambassador. And that's what you really want, right? You want happy employees so that when they do interact with your customers, they not only do their job, which she absolutely did, but
Mm-hmm.
she went above and kind of
Nice.
really said why she loved it. So that's
Yeah.
been my day today.
Speaking of brand ambassadorship, Trish, I would like to thank the Tag Heuer, Mobile One, Oracle, Tezos, Red Bull racing machine today.
Oh,
Put me in a great
goodness.
car. Put me in a
Okay.
great car this morning, and I'm
It's the car show.
firing on all cylinders. Trish, I have a couple items. We probably have time for one of them, so I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want an IKEA item, or do you want a sort of workplace drama that played out over gas prices? You tell me which one you want, and I'll give you that one.
Oh, let's sit. Can we save the IKEA?
Okay.
All right, let's do the work. Can I have choices from now on? That's really fun. I like
Yeah.
that.
All right. Here you
We
go,
let
Trish.
people vote. Can we do a section later where people can vote, like in the comments, what they want to hear about? All right, hit me with the
All
workplace
right.
one.
You may have caught this story, but I'll tell it anyway in case you haven't, and folks listening maybe
Probably
who
not.
haven't heard the story. About 2 weeks ago, Trish, in California, a gas station manager made an error adjusting the price. There were, gas has been going up pretty much every day, certainly in the
Right.
last month or so. He
Out in
made an
California, it's
error.
expensive.
He made an error adjusting the price of gas for one of the grades of gas. He entered 69 cents per gallon, Trish, and he was supposed to enter $6.99 per
Oh,
gallon as he input the
no.
price adjustment for that day. News of the 69-cent gas, because it was actually being sold out
Mhm.
of the pump for some time, news went viral, of course, like it does on social media. The gas station got mobbed, right? And it lost approximately $20,000 in revenue before it could fix the error. It was about 3 hours it took to figure it all out and process it, and I guess maybe make good on people who were in line. I'm not sure exactly that part of it.
Okay.
So subsequently, Trish, the gas station owners fired the manager who made the error, fired him. So the manager then, was interviewed about it. Of course, this is a big story. He took
Mhm.
responsibility, owned up to his mistake, said it was an honest mistake. He made a mistake,
Yeah.
didn't blame anybody, said it's on me. And someone, we think it's possibly someone related to this fired gas station manager, set up a GoFundMe, okay, to raise funds, basically to pay back the gas station. The
Okay.
GoFundMe raised over $23,000 in donations before it was taken down.
Okay.
But Trish, the gas station has refused the money back. They don't want the money back. They're not pressing charges. They're not suing the ex-employee or anything like that. They kind of feel like people were misled, quote unquote, on the GoFundMe page. Apparently, there was some language on there that seemed to imply that the manager himself might be in some legal trouble, which, according to the gas station, he's
Right.
not. They're not pursuing any of it, but they don't want the money back. So they told him, give it back to the donors or donate it to charity, but
Right.
they don't want it. So you've got two questions for you, Trish, about that story. One, should the manager just been fired? Now, we don't know anything about his performance, his
Yeah.
work history. Were there any other issues in his past? We don't know. We don't have reason to think that there were, but we
Right.
don't know of that. So let's assume normal employee. Should he be
Yeah.
fired over that mistake? And then secondly, should the gas station refuse the money back? That's maybe a second question. Do you fire a person who makes one mistake, even if it's a kind of a big mistake? I wonder.
That's tough, right? Because you're right. We don't have all the information. My gut is telling me no, and here's why. And I obviously have not run a gas station, don't know how it all works exactly, but I would think you have insurance for some types of
Yeah, it could be. I
things.
wonder. I didn't even
This
think of
can't,
that.
you
Sure.
know what I'm saying? Like, this can't be the first time a gas station worker has misprogrammed something, right? I
Right.
don't know, maybe. So I guess my first thing might be, but my gut instinct is no, you don't fire the person. It's not like it was intentional. It was caught, it was corrected.
Yeah.
It's kind of the risk we all have doing business, right? Because, like, for example, I work with you. If you make a $20,000 mistake, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, Steve, I cannot work with you anymore. And I don't think you would do the same to me. Again, not intentional. I think
Right.
that's what would get me. Um, I don't know. I just feel that feels bad that it feels bad
Yeah,
inside.
a little bit. I kind of felt that too. That boom just fired over it. But yeah, I mean, it's
If
20
it were
grand,
about the
right?
money, if it were really about the money, and then further, and again, I'm not a GoFundMe expert, but I think that once you donate, the money has to be used for what the intended stated purpose was. It can't just like they can't just now do something else and give it
Yeah,
to
that's
charity, for
true.
example,
And I
right?
think the money
It
probably will just go back to the donors. It
it has
sounds
to
like,
go
yeah.
back to the donors is my understanding of GoFundMe. So, but if the owner of the gas station made such a big deal about the money, then why not take the money? Like if your community is willing to come together for you to like
Yeah, it
so
sounds like
if it's not
well, it
about the
sounds like
money
people were coming together for the manager
for the
really feeling
manager,
sympathetic towards the fact that he lost his
he
job
lost his
over
job.
this whole incident. Anyway, I thought it was a really
So,
fascinating kind of world of work, plus our current world of
yeah,
crazy price inflation going on at the same time. I'm sure this kind of thing happens in other places, maybe
right.
supermarkets, any place that's got a lot of price adjustments that
Yeah.
happen relatively frequently, right? I got to believe this is not an uncommon thing, but certainly was a big
Right.
story last week.
Well,
So,
and I'm
yeah.
just thinking, like, if the gas station is saying that, "No, it's not about the money," then why'd you fire the guy? Like, which is it, gas station? Is it about the 20,000 or is it not about the 20,000? So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, hey, this is one of the most important things of your job, right? Is to do this thing, and you didn't do
yes,
it.
you
So
can. And legally, yes, you can fire someone for
yeah.
for
Well,
they
heck,
paid
you
off,
could
right?
fire. You don't really need a reason to fire anybody for anything other
That's right.
than those few protected carve outs, right?
Yeah.
And some of our labor laws. But
But again, I think, you think about the bad press you get from this, whether and at this point, now it's viral, right? So, whether or not they take the money, don't take the money, whatever, they're gonna look bad. They're gonna look like the bad guy
yeah,
because they didn't if you wanna fire someone, I think there are better ways you could probably go about that than it sounds like what they did, but I don't know,
all
what do
right.
you
Well,
think? Would you have fired him? Just so let me
I'd
know.
like to say I would not have. I would have
Okay.
maybe done a probationary thing. Again, we don't know the
I like
employee's
that,
background or
yes.
his work history.
Yeah.
Was there other things? Was the guy on thin ice for other reasons, et cetera, et cetera? We don't know.
We're
But
gonna assume the best, though, that he wasn't,
yeah,
and
I feel like it's pretty
yeah,
harsh. Yeah.
I think it was harsh. If it were truly an
Considering he seems
accident.
like a high character person who owned up to his mistake and then, seemingly took steps to try to refund the money too, right? So
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't
there
know.
you go.
Well, keep us updated on that one because 'cause I'm curious how that one works out.
And
I
stay
haven't
tuned for a very important story about IKEA next week on the
Oh,
Off
I
Talk
like
Show.
this. I like this. Coming next week, IKEA. Gosh, no, so I'm gonna have to make sure if I see any news stories on IKEA, I'm not gonna read it.
I
Anyway,
think you actually
hey,
like that one.
thanks for taking a break with us on this Thursday afternoon. We hope you have a good day tomorrow and don't work too hard on a Friday. We will see you back here on Monday.